to join the call, by the way.
All right. You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the deal. I want you guys to do me a favor, and we're going to try to keep you. I don't want you guys to be muted, okay? Unless your dog's going crazy or your little brother's yelling and screaming. But I want you guys, I want to be able to hear you ask questions, okay? So we'll try to keep it down. If you think it's too difficult to do that where you are, that's fine. Just don't forget to unmute so you can ask questions. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the chat, but I'd rather hear your voice if you have a question, okay? So let me share my screen.
Someone keeps touching my door and it's kind of creepy. I'm kind of scared.
Oh my goodness.
So can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show you all this. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was putting so much stuff in here. When I got to the last 2 or 3 slides, I ran out of time. So I'm either going to talk to you about those slides or you're going to see me actually fill that presentation in with those parts. Okay. So what I want to do today is talk about pressing. And it's going to be very important to me that you guys know what that is. Okay. So take a second. This is going to be a heading in your notes. An important thing for you guys to think about. And I want you guys to tell me what you think that is. Okay. So I have a feeling you're not going to all be talking over each other. So if you are, we'll slow it down. But somebody want to tell me what pressing is?
Pressing is like pressuring someone, right?
Very much so. Yeah. It's like that's the word it came from, right? So when we talked about principles of defense the other day, remember the first one was pressure. So pressing is that idea of pressuring someone. Okay. So, but I want you to think about, is it an individual action or is it a team action or is it a small group action? What if I told you, when have you heard people talk about pressing? Have you heard coaches talk about pressing before?
Yeah.
When do you hear it? What are the things you hear? Do you hear someone tell you to press? Do you hear someone tell a group of people to press? Do you hear someone tell your whole team to press? What do you hear? Say that again, Olivia.
So like our whole team, because I think pressing's kind of like deciding on whether to like press in situations like if like we have the ball or no. If the other team has it like by where all the defenders are in the back, then we should like press higher so they don't go to the goal. So like kind of like deciding on how we press.
So that's interesting because you've talked about whether or not you do. You've talked about how you do, when you do. You've talked about, and you said high. When you say press high, what does that mean?
Like pressing like closer to the goal.
To whose goal? Their goal or our goal?
Their goal.
Okay. So if we had a field that we were looking at on a piece of paper and we had a top and a bottom, and we would talk about towards the top of the field, that higher part of the field, right? Pressing high?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So what I want you guys to see is this as pressure. Okay. And it's that first principle of defense. We talked about an individual press or a team press. And it really should be, I'm going to do this. Like I said, I'm going to jump in. Let me see if I can get out of here. And let's go into. We're going to actually change that slide right there. Okay. Individual press, a small group press, or a team press. So Olivia, when you talked about your team talking to you about when to press, does everyone do that? I wrote that last slide down. That should be a question. Does every team press? Do some teams not press?
Well, if you're up, you don't need to press. Okay.
So if you're winning, you don't need to press. So you would let the other team come all the way down the field? Stella, tell me how you describe pressing.
Well, when you're down, you want to have high pressure so you can get back up and score. Okay.
So if you were winning, though, do you think you don't press?
No, I feel like
you don't need to press. Your pressure just wouldn't be as extreme as if you're down.
Okay, I like that.
Still
So
defend.
go ahead, Olivia. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was kind of going to say what Stella said. Like, I feel like if we're like down, then like we should press at like a lower intensity. I mean, if we're down, we should press it at higher intensity. And then if we're like winning, then we should press it at lower intensity.
Really interesting. I'm glad you guys are talking about this because you're hearing from coaches and hearing about things that I think are really important. Okay. I'm going to tell you, we're probably going to press at the same intensity. We're just going to decide where and when we're going to press. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that. I will tell you every team presses. If some team ever didn't press, they would literally let the other team go all the way down the field and score. Even a team that presses right in front of their own goal, they're just waiting till their opponent gets to that space and they press. So all of us pressure. Remember, that's where the word comes from. It comes from pressure. So all of us will eventually pressure, even if we wait till a little bit longer until they get further down the field. Okay. So try to keep that in mind as we move on. Okay. These are different types of press. There's that high immediate press. So Olivia said high press. Okay. Stella started to get into the energy that we use when we press. And a lot of people discuss, and this is where I have one of the challenges in coaching, is that a lot of people discuss pressing as simply that high immediate press. Okay. That's not the way it is, though. Teams press in different ways. So it's kind of misunderstood when people discuss pressing as a high immediate press or a high immediate press as pressing. Okay. Some teams will wait until you get into the midfield before they press you. Sometimes we might wait for a team to come around midfield before we press them. Sometimes we'll say at the top of the circle. Sometimes we'll say at the midfield stripe before we press. So that's when some teams will do it. Some teams try to force you out wide. And then when they get you near the sideline, that's when they press. Why would a team do that? Do you guys have any idea why a team would do that? Why would they push you toward the sideline? And then when you get near the sideline, then they press with energy.
So then they can work like the ball will go out of bounds and then you'll get the ball for the throw-in.
Yeah, is that what you were going to say, Lulu?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly right because that sideline works as another defender. Sometimes I can get someone caught in a corner and I can use the goal line, the sideline, and then my pressure or myself and a teammate's pressure. So myself, I could triple team somebody if I get them stuck along the sideline and the goal line. Okay. So what do you think a low block is? We talk about a high press and that being, like Olivia said, high up the field. Midfield press being right in the middle of the field in the midfield. What do you think a low block is?
Pressuring and like lower the field, like towards our goal.
No,
And like our defensive third.
Yeah, like the defensive.
Yeah, a defensive press.
Yeah. AJ, did you get your words in there? I saw you trying to say something. Did you get your thoughts in?
Peyton already said it.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So, no, that's good, guys. Peyton, how you feeling? You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, some teams I have seen only press. I actually watched a college game a few years ago, and when we were progressing down the field and got close to the other team's goal, they had all 11 players in their own penalty box. You imagine how difficult it was to break that down and score. But they actually were pressing right around their own penalty box. I'll show you some pictures of a team doing that in a little bit here too. Okay. So does anyone understand what I'm saying when I say a conditional press? What do you think that means?
Maybe like, is it like kind of like conditioning? Like running a lot, I guess.
That makes sense. It's a different use of this word though. Have you ever thought about like people talk about the conditions that apply in a situation? You ever heard a cell phone plan? They talk about maybe not. Let's just say the conditions of a game. Let's say it's raining or snowing or something like that. What I want to talk about is various moments. And under these conditions, we're going to press. So I'm trying to be really careful because I want you guys to guess what these cues are. So what I'm going to do, I think my next slide, let's see if my next slide is cues. Yep. So my next slide is cues to press. And these are going to be the conditions. When the other team gives us these conditions or these cues, then we're going to press. So maybe I tell you guys, we're going to have a high immediate press. That just means as soon as we lose it, we press. When they're high up the field, we press. Okay, I might say we're going to have a midfield press today. We're going to wait till they get around midfield, then we press. Sometimes I'm going to leave it to you guys to decide whether or not we're going to press. And that's what's going to be based on those conditions. And those conditions, we're going to use the cues as this idea to go. As soon as we see that cue for this condition, we're going to press. Okay. What do you think would be a cue that happens in a game? The other team has possession. We don't have it. The other team has it. And we're going to press when we see this happen. What do you think?
Touch, like a bad touch?
A bad first touch. That's a
their
really
back is to the goal.
Say that again.
Their back is to the goal.
Okay, so a ball passed, like the other team played a ball behind someone. They played an inaccurate pass and made someone face their own goal. Okay, what else? I love that.
Maybe you could like see that they're thinking about passing to someone more up our goal, so then we'd want to press.
So you can see that they're trying to move forward. Is that what you said? Like they're trying to get closer to our goal? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they're trying to progress into a certain area, what if I told you we're going to have a midfield press, then that cue is when they get into the midfield, right? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, what else?
Maybe another cue is like where they're facing.
The way they're facing. Really good. I'm gonna start going through this list. You guys want to add any more before I go? All right, let's see here. Let's see how many of them you guys got. Okay. A bad first touch. You guys got that one. That's a good one. A difficult pass to control. So we already said a bad first touch. That means they got their touch and that was our cue to go. But maybe someone plays a difficult pass to control. We can start heading there before they get their bad first touch. Maybe that difficult pass shows that we can assume she's going to have trouble controlling it. So let's go ahead and start pressing now so we can get there a little quicker. Okay. Guys, if I go through this list too fast, just tell me to slow down. Okay. So a bad first touch, a difficult pass to control, an underweighted pass. What the heck does that mean?
The pass isn't hard enough to get it to the person so they could jump the pass.
Yeah. So I should have played a ball 10 miles an hour and I only played it 5 miles an hour. Okay. Not that you know exactly how many miles per hour you pass a ball. An inaccurate pass. Okay. Maybe that's the ball that makes someone face their own goal in turn. You guys think Olivia said that you're facing your own goal, the direction someone's facing. I think a couple of you said that, right? So facing your own goal. What about just a 50-50 ball? That's probably an underweighted pass, probably, right? But an underweighted pass might mean it's 60-40 in my favor. But even just that 50-50 ball, maybe it was a ball that was played in the air, right? And while it's traveling, I can get there. What if they have a player on their team that's just uncomfortable with the ball? I've seen professional teams kind of pick a player out sometimes and say, I'm going to go, as soon as they play to her, we're going to press her. Okay. Maybe it's someone that's not comfortable to use one of their feet, right? Maybe they're just very, 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 very much right footed and they don't want to use their left foot. That was my problem when I played. Maybe it's a player that just kind of tends to kick the ball away every time she gets it. She's great at winning it. She's super athletic and she's difficult to get by. But as soon as she wins it, she just kicks it forward. That should be a sign we want to keep in mind that she's not very comfortable with the ball. Who do you think, if there was someone on a team and we had to just take a guess, someone that might not be as comfortable with the ball at her feet as anyone else, who might it be?
Goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our goal is to get our goalkeepers very, very comfortable with the ball, because sometimes, a lot of times, goalkeepers don't spend much time getting touches on the ball. So you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to show you Japan pressing the Netherlands in the last World Cup. And when they did it, they were waiting as soon as they played back to their goalkeeper, and then they pressed and pressed. AJ, you got a hand up?
Yeah.
What is it?
So I don't know. This could possibly be it, but players that could be uncomfortable with the ball is maybe defenders if it gets to their the other team's final third, and our defense gets it and it's like tied 1-1, it could be like super nerve wracking because they're the last line of defense and they want to get it out.
That's outstanding because now you're talking about game and situational awareness, right? So now you're talking about how that could be challenging and someone's anxiety might get on them. Yeah. So, and sometimes, especially at your age still, sometimes kids get stuck in positions. And I hope that that's never happened to you guys, and we're going to work on it a little bit. But sometimes the tallest kid on the team gets stuck in the goal, and the fastest kid gets put over here, and the most technical kid puts here and gets put here, and that kid that can kick the ball the furthest gets put here, and the biggest, most physical kid over here. And sometimes when those kind of things happen, defenders are just told, don't mess around with it, get it out of here. And we're going to try to work on building out of the back a little more. Okay. But yeah, you might find a defender, especially in a situation where the game's really tight. You know, if a forward loses the ball, who cares? But if a defender loses the ball, it could be a problem. So you're right. I love that. That's a good, I might add that to my list. So, and then when you guys talk about this too, just that progression into an area that we press. If we decide we're going to have a midfield press, once they get into the midfield, then somebody fall out their window. What happened there? The world. Is everyone okay? All right. So let's see. Next one. I want you guys to understand this. This next topic and this next idea is 18 zones. And this is a really, really old concept. And I want you to give yourself a little space. Maybe it's on the next page, or if you've only filled up the top couple lines of the page you have, I want you to take a moment, and I'm going to give you time to do this. I want you to draw this field.
Brandon, could you go back to the other one?
This one?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take your time. I can finish drinking my macchiato. And if you guys find it, if you're what kind of device you're on, if you guys want to take a screenshot of any of the slides, you're welcome to do that. You guys can copy this information. You already did?
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm just telling you, you guys can do that whenever you'd like. I'm not trying to hide any information from anyone. This is all public info. Just don't tell the teams we play. So.
Just give him our whole notebook here. This is
just hand it over.
We do. Here, just take a look at it.
That's the only way they'll have a chance. We'll just give them all our notes.
Yeah, we're good.
You guys good up there?
Yep.
All right. So 18 zones. I want you guys to try to draw this field. You don't need to draw the arc around the top of the penalty box. I'd probably draw center circle. You don't need to draw the net that's in the goals, but I would probably draw the goals.
Wait, so can we use like the whole paper?
Yeah, I think if you used one page and you drew that, I think that'd be a good idea.
Use this side.
I want you to be able to see this very clearly. Sometimes in training, when I have older kids and they're starting to learn this, I'll say, well, we'll stand out in the field and I'll tell everyone to race. The last one there loses and has to do whatever, push-ups or something like that. And I'll say, all right, go to zone 15, and everyone takes off. And I want to see if everybody knows where that is. Or I'll say, go to zone 7 and see where they go. So I want you guys to kind of memorize this. And as you're drawing it, I'm going to give you a couple hints. It's really pretty easy because our half of the field are the single digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as we move forward and we go into the other half of the field, then it's double digits. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 9 in each one. There's left sides and right sides and central areas.
So you do want to draw the zones?
Yeah, just kind of put them in there lightly. And if you want to draw 1, 2, 3 across the back, and you can see it kind of goes right across the top of the 18. Okay. And then 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, 9 right before you get to midfield. So you guys are going to want to make sure you know where those are. And this is a really old system that I wish people used more because I find it to be really helpful.
Okay, so 16.
I need to take a lot drawing. I literally just realized that. I really need to work on my drawing skills.
I gave you guys graph paper. You should have nice straight lines there.
Just look at that straight line.
That's not bad.
I added extra boxes on the left side. That's how.
It's not too bad. You guys, and we're going to talk about this and you're going to see it when you see it in graphics that I show you in the future. I just want you guys to recognize and understand this, okay? So if you don't get it today, don't freak out, right? I'm not going to be challenging everybody next week, but it's something that I think by the middle of the season, everybody will get it and you'll understand it, okay? So, all right.
Oh, can you go back to the slide?
Yeah, oh, geez, okay. Oh, geez, almost there. Want to watch everybody freak out again? Whoa!
No.
All right, you guys got it?
No.
Gee, mini Chris, it's just 18 zones, not 80.
I got it. Halloween movies.
No, you guys take your time.
Stop rushing me.
I
messed up again.
That's all right, guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. These are just your notes. And like I said, where this is going to be a topic we talk about. And you're going to see me refer to zone 14 sometimes. We're going to talk about, and those of you that are done drawing it, I'll tell you a little bit more about it, right? If I am, it looks pretty good. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's really good. Good. So we serve a ball. If we had to serve a ball into the box, we serve it differently from zone 13 and 15 than we do from zone 16 and 18. Okay. But as you're looking at this, I want you guys to think that sometimes I might say, guys, let's wait till they get to our to our high side of the field. Right at the midfield stripe, that's when we'll press. But sometimes I might say, don't let them get into zones 10, 11, and 12. So we're going to press right around where 10, 11, and 12 end. Sometimes I'll say, as soon as they get into 13, 14, 15, we're going to press, right? We might say, it's a high press. Just go immediate press. We need the ball. As soon as we got to press. Sometimes, I don't know if I'll ever do this with you guys. Maybe one day we'll just practice. And I'll say, we're not going to press them until they get zones 4, 5, and 6. That's a low block. Teams that are pressing in 4, 5, and 6 are in a low block. If you're pressing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's a midfield press. If you're at 13 through 18, that's a high press. Does that make sense now? You can kind of get a better sense of seeing what those three differences are. Maybe the sideline presses or anytime they get around 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, or 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. Okay.
Wait,
so
this one is wait, give me a second. So there's 10, 11, 12. So it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is the midfield press. Yeah,
wouldn't you say? If we sometimes you ever heard people say the attacking third or the midfield third or the defensive third? So if you look at it in thirds, there's 6 zones in each part, right? 1 through 6 is our defensive third, 7 through 12 is the midfield third, and 13 through 18 is the attacking third. Okay. So yeah, I would say 7 through 12 is the midfield. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right. So breaking pressure. What does that mean? What in the world did I just write? Oh no, I did write it. Good. Okay. What does breaking pressure mean?
Like
going through it.
Going through it. What do you think?
Breaking out of the press. Like if a team's pressing us, like how to get out of the press.
All right. So say a team's pressing us and we get out of the pressure. Okay. So what I'm asking that for is let's put the other team back in possession again. Okay. The other team has the ball and we're pressing them and we've got a really good press going on and we've committed a lot of numbers and we're pressing and then they break pressure. They get out of the pressure. Once they get out of that pressure, are we going to go chase them into another part of the field? Or maybe we decide we're not in a high press. We pressed and they got out of it. They broke pressure. And we're just going to go ahead and drop back now and see if we can work them into a certain area before we press with a ton of energy again. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we have to make decisions sometimes when the other team breaks pressure. Do we continue to press or not? Hey guys, I'm going to go backward here for a second. Okay. There's another idea that I probably want you guys to consider. Okay. And this is really a subset of one of these, okay? But it's a very popular term. So you guys see what I just did on that types of press? You see that, what I just added in there?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes this is pretty popular because sometimes one person goes and presses. Sometimes an entire team is committed to a press. And then what hunt in packs means is it just means we get about 3 or 4 of us together. My right wing and my attacking center mid and our striker and maybe our 8 and the 4 of us get close to each other and we can press together. And the 4 of us go in that little pack of players and we go press. Okay. So I probably should have snuck that in there earlier. Okay. All right. So I'm hoping this video will run fairly well for you guys. We showed this video the other day when we were talking about defending. And you guys, just to make sure, you guys are seeing the entire screen, right? You're not seeing the faces because I have faces in the middle of this, right? You're not seeing those, right?
No.
You see the whole screen. Good. All right. I want you to watch France press, okay? So if you see, France is only going to press you in that 13, 14, 15, and maybe right along that line of 10, 11, 12. So you can see, you can go ahead and have 16, 17, 18, all you want. In fact, they're in R14, right? They're in their own 5, their own 4 now, working into their own 5, working over to their own 6. What happens is when you get into those midfield areas, this is a good midfield press. And in particular, I would say 13, 14, 15. And as soon as they win it, they start going forward. And just remember, they're doing that on purpose because they want to win the ball in certain spaces. So this time, Korea probably moved forward a little bit more and broke pressure somewhere because you can see the French players are a lot further back. And because they're further back, you can see now they're kind of reorganizing their press. This is definitely a midfield press, but they're in more like 10, 11, 12. But when you start to talk about, I would say this pass was underweighted. Now I'm messing with it, obviously, right? Making it go back and forth there. But when it goes forward, that's an underweighted pass. And you can see how it's on her back leg. It's on her leg played closer to her own goal than it is forward. You guys see how that's played to her right foot instead of her left? Okay. So that's going to make her forced to face the wrong way. And it's a little bit underweighted. And you got the sideline there. So you got a little bit of a sideline press. So those are great cues to press. So as soon as the player pressing her goes, other French players have to make the decision now. We got to go too. So as soon as they start to go, now you can see all the players in that area. This is a nice little pack of 3 players hunting 3 Korean players. So the 3 of them are going to work together and hunt in a little tiny pack, and they're going to win it back. And when they win it here, now they're going to go through that space. And again, this is the type of goal we talked about a couple of days later. Okay, it's like I told you guys, when people score goals like that, it is not random. Okay, this, and I've put all the words down there, right? This is a high press. You see the Japanese team in blue, and this is the Dutch goalkeeper. The Dutch team's in orange. This is what a high press looks like. Now, I've told you about a couple of different kinds of press. So not only is that a high press, but what else could this be? We talked about high, midfield, low block. What were the other ones we talked about? What might be something we could describe this as?
Oh, small group press?
Okay. So you guys have a small group. So we have maybe our forwards doing it. What about the conditional one? What do you think is the cue or the condition that made her want to press?
Looks like they're sprinting to the goalkeeper.
And I didn't turn to you guys.
Goalkeeper has the ball.
Yeah, I will tell you, I think the Japanese team made their cue the Dutch goalkeeper because I think they didn't have a lot of confidence in her with the ball at her feet. Every time the Dutch goalkeeper got the ball, they pressed her. So for me, this is a little bit conditional, a little bit small group, definitely a high press. Okay. So let's look at the next one here. What? Oh, okay. Hold on. So as I told you guys, we were starting to get into this, and I am going to show you a couple different ones. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. It's a big goal for Sweden. I'm going to go back to 2015 and show you a press. This is one of my favorites. Okay, can you guys see that pretty well? Yeah. Okay, so the Swedish team, Sweden's yellow. The Germans are in white. Sweden's trying to build out of the back. The side to the right of the field, the right side of the field is where Sweden is defending. The Germans are attacking that way. Okay, so Sweden's trying to work the ball out, and you can see a pretty significant press here. Okay, each Swedish player has someone kind of dealing with this. Player's maybe a little bit open. Okay, but go ahead and they end up winning it very high. This looks a lot like that French team. Okay, but when you see it from a different angle and you see the graphics that they put on it, can you see now is Sweden trying to go toward the top of the page, trying to work out? Can you see how every single player has someone associated with them? Even though this player might be behind her, there was another German player behind her as well, that player to the left. This is a pack. You could say hunts and packs. You could say it was conditional because they became very, very predictable at this point once players were all pressed so heavily. The ball was played to her back foot maybe, but this is what a high immediate press looks like and a good decision for the team to press. So what I want you guys to start to get from this is that we're not just chasing the ball. There are actually going to be times when you don't want to press. There'll be times that the conditions and the situation of the game keep us from doing that. Okay. Watch this. This is a good one actually too. This was in 2015 in the Japanese team. There we go. So this is interesting too, the type of goal. But when you look at it, they didn't do it that way. I thought I had more of this. I thought this one went back further, so I'm going to skip that one, okay? It's been 7 years since I watched that highlight. So 2015, 19. So I want you to watch. This is the Japanese team doing a handful of different things. Over the course of the game, during the flow of the game, they were doing a number of different things, okay? And it was amazing because you could tell they were making decisions on the fly as to whether or not. So what I did was, this is the program I used to break things down, and I was showing a bunch of different things. And in this case, we're going to watch a high press, or what we call an immediate press, or something that was very patient and then tons of energy. So remember when Olivia was talking about, or Stella was talking about the energy? What I want you guys to see is that you might be very patient, then tons of energy to press. So you can see the Japanese team is about to play a longer ball forward. That's a 50-50 ball. So if it ends up being more of a 50-50 ball, you can see this, you can already see the Japanese team is already surrounding that area very quickly. And then they win it up very high. So what do you think right now? If this fell apart, we've lost the ball. Should those 4 Japanese players around the ball, should they be pressing right now or dropping off because we lost it? What do you think?
Drop.
You say drop? What else? What does anyone else think?
Drop 2.
You say drop as well?
Yes.
It's very interesting to me because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Dutch players here. Okay. So a lot of their support is behind them. And because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 committed here, we have a lot of players behind us. So, but if we can win this back right here, and I think we're close enough that we could press quickly. The most important thing, remember that first principle of defense? We said, what's the first thing we need? And it's the topic of tonight's session. What is it? Pressure. So do you think this player right here can prevent her from playing forward if she steps up? I think so. So I would probably press right here. I wouldn't say they've actually broken pressure just yet. They do have the ball, but I don't think they've broken pressure. If this girl passes over to here and frees this player and they come out, they've broken pressure, right? If she passes to her, they've probably broken pressure. If they pass it here and this player drops off, they probably have. I would say they probably haven't broken pressure yet. I'm going to keep pressing.
On the ball. Both teams want to build out of the back. We see the Netherlands trying to match.
That was good pressure. All right. So you can see the Dutch team break. You can see this high press right here, this little pack. But when the Dutch team breaks that pressure, watch how they change. See, they play it. You see that number 14 especially? Watch how she kind of goes back and finds her position instead of pressing. That was a really clear proof that if someone breaks pressure, we're not going to chase it, okay? So, like I said, certain opponents are pressed differently. Watch how quickly when they play this back to their keeper, watch how quickly they press. Forced her to play a 50-50 ball. So sometimes people will say, Brandon, I'm pressing and I didn't win it. So that striker that just pressed their goalkeeper, she didn't win the ball. And she could say, Brandon, it's not working. I'm pressing. It didn't work. But when you force into a 50-50 ball and we win it back here, it absolutely worked. You may not be the person that wins it, but when we as a team win it, that's good. And now, oh, it fell apart. So we're about to take a throw in. There's going to be a lot of people in that area, and we're committing some numbers forward, just pretending like we're the Japanese team, okay? I don't want them to get out of here. So right now, number 14, if the player for the Dutch team turns out and plays their goalkeeper, that's they're breaking pressure. But if that girl turns that way, then has to deal with the goal line and the sideline and pressure here. I'm pressing this for sure. So look at all 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another player here, all committed. Okay, you can't let the Dutch team out right now. You have too many people out of position. So I'm going to press because I can't let them out. I can't let them out. Look at all the players committed. So there's 5 Japanese players right there. You cannot let them out. This is double team, high energy, high press. Once they break pressure, one long pass. You can see up at the top of the screen, there's a girl that I made a little bit low. You can see their center back pointing to her, and you can see the left back saying, play it to me, play it to me. But all these players, you cannot let this ball be played. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players committed to this area. With one player being our goalkeeper, number 7, way at the other end of the field, we only have 4 players to deal with this. If this girl gets this long pass played, we have 6 people out of position. So we have to press. You've got to press. Once that ball goes, now we're all sprinting back. Look how quickly the Dutch team's moving forward against that. Now those 4 remaining players. See how the Japanese players still trying to get back? That's the 4 players I told you were remaining. Look at the shape. Guys, does that look familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Is their center backs going to press? See the pressure, cover, depth, balance? I just happened to randomly stop it there, but that's exactly what we should look like, right? What that allows, good job in recovery. So this player right here that I have circled, watch her. The Dutch team's about to break pressure. It's been a while since I've watched this too, but I think he plays it back here. Okay. So what you're going to watch is watch this player's head. I want you to watch her turn her head. Tell me what she's looking for. See that look back? What was she looking for?
Cover.
Looking for cover. But this is a topic about pressing, right? So before she presses to go cover that long space, see the distance between the two?
Yeah.
Before she, see her looking back? What do you?
Pressing.
She's trying to see if anyone else is pressing. She was like, am I going to go chase this and do this by myself, or are you guys coming with me? So yes, she's looking for cover, but she's also looking to see, are we pressing? Those two are working together. So watch when she plays this ball. Watch her head again. See, she's looking back. She's trying to see, are we doing this or not? Because look at this. Pressure, but no one's pressing her. And this is one of the dangerous things about high pressing and an immediate press. if she's doing her job and she's doing her job and she's doing hers and she's doing hers, but someone isn't doing theirs, then all of a sudden we've got a big problem. You can see that huge problem. Okay. What do you think if we were pressing that? Can you see who I'm circling with my mouse?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
How can this player, what is she, if it was her alone we're talking about, what is she encouraging the Dutch team to do? What player is she encouraging them to use?
The middle player.
Girl with the
That-
orange circle around
That
it.
one in the circle, right? So what if she dropped back here and got closer to her? Who would she be encouraging them to use?
The one all the way on the
Where
left.
she left.
Yeah, right there.
Right. So what happens is this player could do us a big favor by coming back here and making them play sideways or backward instead of allowing them to play forward.
In the starting lineup, I thought she played particularly well.
See, they're not
against
pressing.
England.
We're not pressing it. In fact, if you watch this player, I'm going to rewind this a little bit. Watch this player. Watch her head. She's just going to keep looking. Are we doing this or not?
I thought she
Look
played
at her. Like,
particularly
look back.
well against
Look
England.
back. And she decided, all right, we're just going to keep our
Today,
shape,
she's
stay
let those through
compact.
balls, which is important to do against the Dutch side that likes to get in behind.
What do you think? You see the player at the bottom, in the bottom right. She's right here.
No.
Let me, I'm fixing my, I got all your faces over here. So I'm moving you guys to the other side. All right. See her down here at the bottom right?
Mm-hmm.
What was her cue to press?
The
Just passing to the sidelines or near the sideline.
Yeah, that helps with that long flighted ball.
50-50
Okay.
ball.
Yeah. So it's maybe not quite 50-50 because it's a little closer, but it's maybe a 60-40 ball, but it's definitely the long flight gives her time to close the space. Here, look over her shoulder. So as she goes, that long distance of ball to travel gives her time to close. And then what do you think the chances she might have a bad first touch are? It's a little bit tougher than a ball on the ground, right? So actually what happens is when she presses and that girl receiving the ball sees the press, she decides to play this with one touch instead of controlling it because she doesn't want to lose it. So then the Japanese team wins it back here. So did the press work?
Yeah.
It did. This girl that pressed didn't win it back, but she pressured her into playing quickly, and that pressure forced her to play a bad ball, and the Japanese team won it. So understand, guys, sometimes when you press, you're going to feel like you're chasing. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're not doing your job. I promise you, you are. As long as we win it right behind you, you've done your job. And now they're in possession. Now they're creating and going forward and committing numbers. Nice patient press. Think about that. One girl just decided to go press because of a long flighted ball, and now they've scored. Okay, it's outstanding. So let me get into. I'm gonna pull up one that I was gonna add in there. I want you guys to see this. So, let's see if I can find my. Defensive shape. Go into here. Okay. I can't remember the name of that team. Well, let's do this, okay? Because we're creeping up on an hour now, and you guys have been awesome, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time looking for a clip that I'm having trouble finding right now. I used to have.
Take your time.
I'm gonna try one more time.
Oh, look, you can see the painting.
Hey, watch this. I want you to see the angle of a player pressing. Okay, this is I just happened to come across this clip here that I want to show you. I want you to see the angle of this player pressing. This is a forward. Our forward is our first defender when we don't have possession of the ball. And I want you to see how this player presses. The white team is Liverpool. They're in possession. Their goalkeeper has it, and he's going to roll the ball out to one of their center defenders. I think that's Skirtle back in the day. So see the player I have circled? I want you to see that player I've circled. Now, a lot of times people want to go here because they want to make sure that guy can't go forward. But watch his shape as he closes this down. That's weird, isn't it? Instead of preventing this guy from going forward, what is he doing?
Being back in the middle.
He's preventing the ball from going to the middle or backwards into the middle. Okay. So what happens is now that player has to go forward, which sounds like that's the opposite of what we want, right? But he's forcing him into an area. Are you starting to see the area? Look how crowded this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 2 in here, and 7, 8 against 5 in the against 6 probably in that whole area. But he's forcing him to play in here. He also has the sideline that's helping. He's forcing him into a really, really crowded area. So when they win the ball here, they can press very quickly. And look what's happening now. So that player now has the ball. This is the player that originally pressed. So again, I have players come to me like this player, not that he ever came to me, but the players that play that role, right? And they go, Brandon, it's not working. I'm pressing and I'm never winning the ball. If we win it here, you've done your job. Please, please understand that pressing is a very, very deep topic. Okay. Let me try to see. Ooh, this might be it. That is not it. I'm gonna try a little bit longer here. Press. Here we go. Here we go. All right, we want to see what a low block looks like. This is a low block. This is a team pressing in 4, 5, and 6. This is super, super low. Chelsea's the team in blue. They're the home team. They're the team in possession. Watch the team in red and where they're defending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Goalkeeper's 10. Look at where 10 of their 11 players are. So you have to understand as you guys get older too, we'll start to talk about how to beat a team that's doing that. That's going to be challenging. Okay. But what Chelsea's trying to do is go sideways so they can get around them. If you can't go through them, you can't play behind them because the keeper's there and it's hard to get a shot. So what they're trying to do is move it sideways and see if you can stretch them apart a little bit. But look how many players are back. That, and understand that is a team that is pressing. They're just pressing in a very low, low block. So I want you guys, as you get older, if you have coaches tell you, our team presses, it's every team presses. This is pressing. It's just pressing in a different part of the field. Okay. All right. I want to save a little bit of time for you guys to ask questions. So tell me, let's go stop here. Tell me what you guys need to know. Not all at once. Slow down. Holy moly. Come on. There's no way. This is the hardest topic we've talked about so far. There's no way you guys all have all this.
What?
Work on them. Like, will you like show us like on the field like where all the zones are?
Yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about it. I don't expect you guys, any of the things I teach you, especially something like that, I don't expect you to know it right now. Okay. But by the end of the season, I would love it if I can say, hey guys, can we wait till they get into 13, 14, and 15 before we press? And then have you guys know what that means. So my goal is to make sure you guys know this before I leave you. Okay.
As a goalkeeper with like a high press, where am I supposed to be?
If we are pressing high, or if the other team is pressing high.
When we are pressing high.
So when we're pressing really high, we always want to talk about things that happen in between our lines. Sometimes there's a big gap that forms between our forward line and our midfield line, and we have to deal with that. And sometimes we have to deal with the midfield line to the defensive line. And then you should also view as the defensive line to our goalkeeper and how we deal with that. So let's think about this. If we're in high press and they can't play in their own half of the field, are they going to try to play a short ball Or are they going to try to play long balls to get out?
Long balls.
Right. So if they're trying to play long balls that are going to go behind us, then I would like it if you're aware of that space. So sometimes when you see teams press really high, I watched, who was that? I think it was England's goalkeeper a few years ago, or Germany's goalkeeper for the women. Germany's men do this a lot too, but I think it was the German women's goalkeeper was 35 or 40 yards off her line. She was well outside the penalty box. And when balls were over hit behind, she would just sweep them up and take care of them. So if we're in a high press, I wouldn't be surprised, and we'll talk about it and why and what are some of the other cues, but don't be surprised if we have you even outside the penalty box. Okay. But we'll help you notice the cues. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, like
Stella, you done up there?
Brandon.
Stella's high pressing the camera up there.
Yes.
When we played indoor, like when we all used to play indoor as a team, and like we rotate goalies.
Yeah.
Peyton, what? Okay. I remember, our goalies in indoor used to press to like half the field on the indoor fields.
Yeah. When I had to play in the goal and I was in indoor, I was out of the box a lot because you have fewer players on the field. So goalkeepers in indoor use the ball at their feet a lot more. So I did it to be connected. Not necessarily to press as much, but I tried to be very connected. So
Yeah, I had to play goalkeeper a lot in indoor. Like we all had to play, and it was very hard.
yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah, it is fun.
Those are good questions. What else do you guys have?
adding on to Lena's statement, should we play like as a sweeper keeper if we're pressing high?
Well, I think these are all, so sometimes I told you guys you're going to ask me questions and you're going to not like my answer because I'm going to go, what half of the game is it? Are we winning? Or are we losing? Are the team we're playing, are they better than us or are they not? Are they playing a lot of long balls or are they playing the balls short? Okay. What's the surface like? Has it been raining? Has it been? So there's a lot of things that will go into that. And for me, let's just say we're down a goal and the other team is not pressing high and they're in a really low block and we need to commit numbers and be a little more direct. You're probably that sweeper keeper type because they're probably just clearing the ball. But if we're in the 15th minute of the game and it's a very even game and they've got a lot of pace up top, maybe not. So I think it's going to be one of those things we're going to have to decide what are the other factors in the game, what are the other conditions, and then make a decision what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good question. You guys are killing it with the questions tonight. What else?
Wait, what's like hunting in packs, or I guess?
So
types of price.
Hunting in packs is finding the 2 or 3, maybe 4 players near you on the field, the players that are just to your right or just in front of you or just behind you, and working with that small pack of players to go press. So it may not be the whole team pressing, but it's certainly more than one, but it's a coordinated group of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people that are going to press together. Okay. Good. Killing it tonight. I'm loving the questions. I don't even have to throw Starburst at you guys, and you guys are.
I want Starburst.
I want
Oh, here, hold up. I have like gummy bears. If you have a question, I'll throw you.
I'll take the gummy bears.
All right, there you go. Good questions. All right, anything else?
You guys want crackers?
I have some crackers in here too. Throw a rip.
Go eat dinner.
I need to go eat too. I'm starving.
I'm having hamburgers.
I don't know what I'm having. I want to go home. All right, are you guys all good?
Yeah.
All right. I think we're changing the time of our practice on Saturday. And I need your parents to check the time for Sunday too, because I might bump it a little bit to make sure we can get on the turf. Okay.
Wait, what are we doing? What were we doing practice, or is it a surprise?
Well, what we're going to do on Saturday is I'm asking our goalkeepers to go to the gray team's training because they want to work on building out of the back, and he has an entire session built for goalkeepers to make saves and build out of the back. So we may on Saturday do a lot of midfield and possession, speed of play things that don't need goalkeepers.
I'm not good at it.
Who said I'm not good at midfield? Who said that? Oh, that's good. Yeah, we'll practice. You'll get better. Okay.
Hey.
So that we may be doing possession and speed of play things on Saturday so the goalkeepers can work with the second team on building out. Okay. You guys were awesome today. Gabby, what are you typing? Typing
No, that's
away
a
on a.
No, that's a pop-it. It's a
What
pop-it.
is that? What is it?
You pop. It's like bubbles, and you just pop.
You just keep
Bubbles,
popping?
definitely.
Guys, I have to show you a big topic. Come here.
Gabby, I want to hear it. Unmute yourself.
Everyone.
Brandon!
What?
Oh my gosh,
What are these things?
There's 400.
Okay, I have to go eat dinner.
All right, guys, get out of here. Go eat dinner.
Besties.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do I get out of here?